speaker, Courtney Moses, is she's going to be discussing committing builders. Committing builders. There's a lot of emotions that happen when you're committing builders, and you need to make sure that you hold your space, okay? That you're working with the ones who are ready and open to grow. So Courtney will be discussing, her 4 steps, her experience. She's so much like Janet. Like, she's gone through probably as many, if not more, obstacles than some of you, and she still kept pushing, never once gave up. She's very inspired, she's so determined, and I've watched her just every obstacle is like, bam, I'm crushing it. It's so cool to watch her do that. And so she's going to take you through the steps of, when to begin, that decision to, your 4 decisions, like deciding to begin, deciding to let go, deciding to go big, and I can't remember the other one, forgive me, Courtney, but she's going to go through all of her decisions, the process in her building, and how she got to committing builders. Because who here wants to commit some builders? It's time. So without further ado, please, Courtney Moses, come on up.
Hey, Desiree. Come here. I do need to be turned on.
Okay, that is on. Try now.
Both of them? Both mics on?
Yes.
We're good? All right. Awesome. How are you guys? You good? I'm so excited to be here with you, and I'm excited to share this stage with amazing leaders, and most importantly, to be in this room with all of you guys. I'm very proud of each of you for being here, and I think that you're all wonderful. Take time out of your life to be here. All right, so as Desiree said, we're going to be talking about committing builders, right? Now, I saw a lot of you in here that wanted to commit builders, but not everybody. So the rest of you that didn't raise your hand, you already know how to do it? You're good? You can skip out on this one? All right. Is this ready? Here we go. Thank you. All right, so I'm going to ask a couple things from you today. We're going to have a couple times where we're going to do a little bit of journaling and reflection time as I speak with you today. So if you don't already have out your pens and paper, make sure and get them out so that you are ready when that time comes, okay? Now, the other thing is that I think the way that we learn the most from somebody is when they share their experiences. Do you guys agree? For me, that's how I learn the most, right? If I'm going to listen to somebody, take time out of my life to listen to them, I want to know that what they're telling me, they've done. They've been through that, okay? Now, the problem with it is that I'm going to be very vulnerable today. And I'm going to share with you my experience. And it's going to be from my heart. And so I hope and I pray that as I do that, because it's not pleasant, you're going to see Courtney Moses, good, bad, ugly, and all of it in between. Ow! I hope that you'll help create that space for me that will allow me to teach you all those vulnerable moments that I've had so that you can learn and grow from that too. Can you do that for me? All right. So how do we do this then? How do we commit builders? Okay? It's hard. Would anyone say that it's easy? Does anyone here think it's easy to commit a builder? No one. So we have 600 people in the room and no one's like, oh, I got this. Cakewalk. No? Okay. So it can be hard, right? But what I'm hoping that you're going to get out of this today, and what I promise you, is that as we go through each of these decisions, we're going to talk about the decision to start, the decision to keep going when things get hard, the decision to let go, and the decision to go big. And I want you to do just a little bit of self-evaluation at that time, okay? And I want you to think about, where am I at in this process, okay? Have I made this decision? And I want you to think about your leaders and where they're at. Have they made these decisions? And I promise you that as you do that you will walk away from here with more clarity and more understanding and a higher ability to commit builders. All right? So let's do this. Let's get started here. What causes a person to start Doterra? Anyone? Throw some stuff out there. What caused you to start? Experience, oils. The need? The need. Financial need. Boom, there. Help people, right? So there's a lot of reasons why someone would start, right? So here's just a few of the reasons why I want to start Doterra, okay? So one about personal growth. Does anyone in here grow personally when you started Doterra? Yeah. Yep. If not, you'll just go ahead and leave the room right now. Okay. It's inevitable. You will grow, okay? What about any opportunities for your children? You want to provide better education for them? Or maybe for yourself? You want to go back to school, right? Janet talked about the ability to bring her husband home and after work, 3 jobs, right? So all these different reasons. We talked about the need, making a difference in the world, right? Just the pure love of loving people, wanting to share the oils with them and change their lives, right? All of these are good. And the financial reason. Now I'll tell you, the reason why I started was mainly the financial reason. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I did this just for the financial gain. See, I didn't know about everything else that was gonna come with it. But when I started Doterra, when it was introduced to me, I was probably in the darkest years of my life, okay? I had 3 small children. I had a 1, 2, and 3-year-old. That's fun. That's fun in and of itself. And then you add Doterra on top of it, super fun, right? People talk about living paycheck to paycheck, right? Anyone here experience that? Okay, at the time in my life, I was like, oh, that's so cool. Like, I would have loved to live paycheck to paycheck because I was negative paycheck to paycheck, right? I was gaining weight. I was depressed. I was married to someone that was never around because of the hours that he was working. I had to file bankruptcy. I was in a very dark place. My kids were sick. I didn't know what was wrong with them. It was difficult. So all I could think about was that if I could just start, if I could just do this, then maybe I could take off one of these obstacles in life. So I didn't know that Doterra was going to take away everything. I was just hoping to take away one, right? Because I didn't want to have to measure out milk anymore every morning to feed my kids cereal and calculate how long that was going to last me. Or think about how many times I can get into my car and drive to different places because that gas tank had to last till that next payday. That's miserable. And some of you in this room have been there and done that, and you get that, right? So what happened, every night, I put my kids to bed about 7:30, and you can imagine during the day I would get nothing done but just deal with 3 kids, right? And I have a gift of sewing. Anyone here seamstress? Awesome, love you, okay. So I worked for this company at the age of 14, all the way up to 22. And then what happened is I came to this financial desperate place in my life, and I called them up when I was 30, holy crap, something years old. And I was like, you know what, I need some money. You guys know that I'm talented in this. Is there any way that you will let me sew at home so I can be home with my kids and help make some extra money? And they said, yeah, we'll do that with you. And so I worked for this company, and I would put my kids to bed at 7:30 at night, 8 o'clock, and then I would sew till 1 or 2 in the morning. Every day, sit there at that machine and sew. I would wake up. You know how sore you are after you have a newborn? You're like carrying them all the time? Yeah, magnify that by 20. Because then I was sore from sewing at a machine. My muscles hurt. I didn't want to hold my babies. And I would just lay there and they'd crawl all over me because there's 3 of them. And they thought it was great fun. I was like, just don't make me get up, I'm okay. Through all of that, you know what I made a month doing that? $300 to $500 a month. But anything, I was willing to do anything. And I remember going to bed in tears so many nights, sending that prayer up to heaven saying, dear God, something has to give. Because one of these days, I'm not going to want to wake up and go through this again. About a week later, I got a phone call from my dear friend Seth Risenmay. Woo! And he just started talking. We hadn't talked for about a year, so we went a year without communicating. How many of you sometimes think, well, I don't want to call that person because I haven't talked to them for a year? Okay, freaking pick up the phone and call them, okay? Do it! So we go a year without talking to each other, and I'd moved and different things happened, and he calls me, and he just starts, hey, how's it going? How's life? And I was like, here, let me throw up on you. Blah, blah, blah. Right? He's like, yeah, I can imagine that's pretty hard. So you guys probably don't have good health insurance, huh? You think? Nope, sure don't. Can't afford that, but we use oils. He was like, oh, you use essential oils, huh? What company? And I'm like, Doterra? And on the other end, he's probably like sinking, like, oh, crap, right? She's in Doterra already. And in my heart, I'm like, just ask me, because I knew where this was going. And so he ends up through that conversation asking me if I want to join his team. Now, I'm trying to still be the cool girl, right? And I'm like, yeah, cool. Let me go ahead and think about this, and I'll call you tomorrow, okay? And then I hung up the phone, and it was like full-on happy dance, right? I mean, I'm just like, yes, and going. I mean, it was like crazy, right? I was so excited. I'm like, I'm doing this, right?
You wasn't signed up yet.
It was what?
I wasn't posted.
Well, I'm trying to like be a little bit modest here. I was not signed up yet. Right. So here's the deal, okay? For any of you guys that do this, here's another time I'm going to yell at you. I was getting my oils for free, from guess who? My mother. Don't we all love our moms? But go smack them when they do that. Any of your friends, anyone you know, just go smack them across the face if you find out they're giving the oils free to somebody. You're not doing them any favors, okay? All right, ran off my tangent. All right, so the next day I ended up calling him and I said, yeah, I'm going to do this. But here's the deal. I don't have any money, so we're going to have to wait until I can get my tax return and start this, because I can't right now. But I'm going to do this, right? So in the meantime, he gave me all these other things to do, right? To start getting on websites, to start learning. And the day after I got my oils was my first class. So we had it all prepared. And I was just doing all this groundwork. I was contacting people. I was making lists. See, I didn't wait until I got my oils, until I enrolled to start the work. I made the decision now. I'm going to do this, right? And why? Why do you think I made that decision? Because that night when I went to bed and I was saying that same prayer I'd said over and over and over and over again, I was like, oh, this is the answer. This is the opportunity. But what if it's not? Right, then I got worried, well, but what if it's not? All right, so let's go there for a minute. Well, what if 5 years down the road, I was still in the same situation, right? I didn't do Doterra, right? 5 years down, same situation, nothing changed. Do you think that I would have regretted that moment, at least not trying? Yeah. I would have. And the other thought that occurred to me, what if I do this, but I fail? What if 5 years down the road, I'm still not any further ahead financially? Would I regret this? The answer was no, I wouldn't. Because at least I didn't turn down a freaking opportunity when it was thrown in my lap. See, I learned I prayed too many times to not at least try, right? So I didn't want to live with regret, okay? So that was my moment. That was the moment that I decided to start. And here's what I've realized. Those moments when you decide to start something, it is faith-driven. Faith-driven, okay? Faith is what propels you forward. It is what helps you make decisions and keeps you going. Fear is what stops you. So any of you in this room, when you're thinking about, was this the right thing, was it not, should I stop, should I keep going, okay? Just understand that. You have faith and you have fear. What are you choosing to live by, right? And I chose in that moment, I'm going to have faith because I'm done with this fear. It's garbage. I'm sick of that, okay? Yeah. So why start then? Let's say, for example, your circumstances were not like mine. You know, you have a pretty good life. Your husband's got a pretty good job. You know, why start Doterra? Okay? I'm going to give you 2 reasons why. I want you to look around this room here, okay? Your legacy will change that day that you decide to start Doterra. Anyone disagree? Have you seen it already in your life that your legacy is changing? I want you to look around to the person next to you, behind you, in front of you. Do you think for one instant that they want more for their loved ones than you do? They don't. So we all want the same things. We all want our children to be well-rounded. We want to give them better education, better opportunities, sports, you know, all of this, right? We want to be able to travel. We want to have experiences. We want family time. We all want the same things. The difference is our ability to give them. How many in here can give you everything that you want to give your family right now? Rod. What a sucker. And that's why you go Blue Diamond. Right? But think about that, okay? So right there, everyone should do it because none of us are in a position, except for Rod, to give our families everything we want to give them, right? So when someone says to me, oh, you know, it's okay though, I don't need to start Doterra. I mean, we're pretty good. I'm like, really? Have you thought about everything you want to provide for your family and you're giving them all that? I have yet to come across somebody that has, okay? Now, what's really cool about this is that it will change your story. And all of us want to change our story, right? All of us have garbage and those skeletons in the closet, right, that we want to change, right? We want to rewrite our story. And I will never forget the day, the very first time I had someone come to me and tell me thank you for sharing the oils with them. It was one of the coolest experiences that I ever had, right? Should I tell you it? How much time do I have? 35. Okay, I'm going to do it real quick. All right. So we just got done teaching a class. Seth came out and we taught this class. And we were teaching about lavender and how fantastic it is for burns. I'm going to leave it at that. And I had one of my girlfriends call me the next Sunday morning. And she said, hey, didn't you say that you had an oil to help with burns? And I said, yeah, I did. It's lavender. Why? She says, my daughter, who's 18 months old, just grabbed the curling iron and held on to it. Now, she has 5 daughters, and her husband was a manager at Walmart and was not home, and it was Sunday morning. She's like, I don't want to have to go to the ER. I don't know what to do. I thought I would try that oil. And I said, I'll be there in 2 minutes. And I jumped in the car, and I ran over there, and I gave her the whole bottle, and she just like opened up her hand, and like literally I wanted to throw up. I was like, oh my word, you probably should go to the ER. And I don't say that lightly. And so I gave it to her, and I said, don't even touch it. Just every 10 minutes, just open up that hand and just drop that oil on, right? And so she did that. And I thought about her a lot through the day. And I wondered how she was doing and how her kids were, if her husband had to come home, if she had to go to the doctor. And I wondered all of these things. Well, the next morning at 7:30 in the morning, I hear this knock, knock, knock on my door. And I open up the door, and it's my friend Jet. And she's got her little baby in her hand, for 18 months, and she's holding a little bag of Lifesavers. It was like the cutest thing. It was so cute. And she goes, we just wanted to stop by and tell you thank you. And she opened up her hand, and it looked brand new. There was not any marks on her hand. None. And at the time, I was like, oh, that's so cool, right? And then there's a little note that was stapled to the little bag of Lifesavers. It says, thank you for being my lifesaver. And I was just like, I did what you guys did. I was like, aw, cute, right? And then she leaves, and I turn, at this point, my 3 boys, if any of you know them, they're crazy, had the Lifesavers, and they're tearing into them, and they're just like going crazy, right? And I turn around from this little moment to like, right? And then all that's left on the ground is like trash, right? So I go over and I pick up this note, only thing left on there that said that, and then I was like, and it hit me. Like, what did this save them from? And I realized financial, emotional, physical, there was a lot of saving in that moment. And that was the first time that I was like, this isn't just about my financial gain, but it's about healing people physically, financially, and emotionally, not just me, right? And you'll get that. How many of you have experienced that already? People saying thank you, right? It's the most amazing thing. So they're not only going to say thank you for sharing the oils with me, but they're going to start to say thank you for changing my story. Thank you for developing me. Thank you for the sacrifices, for your time, for your commitment and love, for helping me change my story. And what's better than that is that your kids will start to say thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad. Thank you for all those times you left. Because I was able to strengthen the bond with the other parent when you were gone. Thank you for helping me learn how to cope. Thank you for showing me how to chase my dreams. Thank you for showing me how to dream and to hope. See, before that, I wasn't teaching my kids how to dream. I wasn't teaching them how to hope. In fact, it was like, we don't even go there, right? Like, we just don't go there. Has anyone seen Zootopia? Yeah. Right? It's in the beginning of the show, and they're like, I can't remember the girl's name, the bunny. What's her name? Judy? Yeah, and they're like, Judy, have you ever wondered why me and your mom are so happy? And she's like, nope. She's hopping along doing her thing. He's like, because we just don't believe in our dreams. We settle. I mean, I remember watching that with my kids, and we were like busting out laughing, and my kids were like, suckers, they don't know how to do it, Like, we had a fun time watching that show. So it's like, I didn't even dream. That was before Doterra, right? So that's one of the reasons why you should always start Doterra. The second reason